This is me on the first day of high school. I attended the Galatasaray Lisesi, the oldest educational institution in Turkey, a French high school at the literal heart of Istanbul. I was there for 5 magnificent years. I was a very reserved person back then, quite the introvert. My 5 years at the high school, however, would completely change me. I was amazed and pulled by the social opportunities at my school. I picked up a new language, French, from the scratch in a year. I started taking part in the French debate competitions at my high school, a courageous move that you wouldn't have expected from me. Next year, I went on stage and joined the school's French theater troupe. Building up from my experiences at local debate competitions, I was also taking part in international conferences and seeing new countries by now. I was even playing for the school band. I was hearing about upperclassmen getting into prestigious universities all over the world. Sorbonne, Oxford, Yale, and so on. Even though I didn't know whether living abroad was what I wanted to do after high school, their stories inspired me. As I was changing for the good throughout my high school experience, something else was changing at the same time. My country. And it was not for the good. It was a Friday. It was my mom's birthday. It was also the final day of the finals week at school. Even though I had a tough literature exam waiting for me, I was quite happy, as it marked the end of the school year. I would never have guessed that that day would be the day when I realized and witnessed how things were changing in my country. A wave of demonstrations to contest the urban development plan for the famous park Gezi Parkı had begun 3 days earlier in the district my school was in. Throughout the day, the cries and the slogans of the protesters echoed through our school. But this wasn't something new to me. We students had been used to such things for a long time, at our school being in the most active district of Istanbul. However, what we did not know was that on that day, both police violence and the amount of participants exceeding 10,000 people had both reached an unprecedented level. It was no longer a matter of environmentalism, but rather a matter of everything Prime Minister Erdogan and his governing party had done since coming into power. People were protesting to defend their freedom of speech, democratic rights, right to have a free media and fair elections. We all realized the gravity of the situation when an actual tear gas canister reached the schoolyard. In Turkish schools, the national anthem is played in the schoolyard before the school gets dismissed for the weekend, so everybody was there. I was lucky that I was not affected that much, but I still remember the burning sensation. Protests were a commonplace thing in Turkey, but I had never seen or heard of one at such a big scale. The government and Prime Minister Erdogan were not happy, to say the very least. Ever since, the government has been keeping a severe level of hostility, even long after the protests ended. More than 4 years after the Gezi Park protests, the Turkish society is now characterized by exceptional levels of violence, unrest, hostility, and intolerance. Alienation has been affecting every single aspect of life in Turkey. I personally feel affected by this alienation. As an atheist, I have been called a terrorist by our Prime Minister.
Bunlar ateist. Bunlar terörist.
As an alumnus of Galatasaray Lisesi, a French high school, I have been incessantly called a traitor to the country. As someone who voted against the constitutional referendum of 2017, which seeks to abolish the office of the Prime Minister and the current parliamentary system, I have been accused of trying to divide the country by numerous members of the government.
Bu referanduma evet deyince ülke bölünecek olsa önce Kandil koşa koşa evet der.
And most recently, as an international student, I have been accused by the President of the Republic of being a conspirator and a spy of the West.
Maalesef Batı'nın gönüllü ajanları adanmış havarileri haline gelmiştir.
This alienation was the biggest reason why I no longer wanted to stay in my country. I love Turkey. Turkey is where home is for me. But right now, it's not where I feel safe. And I can't do anything but hope for a better future for my country.